Welcome back, everybody, to session number 28 of Epics of Irundal. Welcome back to the stream. Last time, our party had descended below the earth, deep into the bowels of the Feedy Dunes, exploring a less than beaten path segment of mining locations in search of individuals that had gone missing, reported by some of your contacts in the city of Tafar. After running into one of these such individuals, you tailed them back to a strange location. Unsure of what was going on, they had disappeared in a blast of smoke from a glass vial, but with a bit of deductive reasoning, you managed to find a hidden illusory wall of sorts that led to what you can only imagine was a much different segment of these tunnels, or a different segment of tunnels somewhere completely remote from where you were prior. After gathering yourselves back up, Trash, Floof, and Dazes, accompanied by the former captain of the Silver Talon Guard, Gamil Gesh, descending downwards into this now, going from a very dry, arid environment into this moist, humid, very strangely alchemic sort of area. You found yourselves amongst less than welcoming hosts, some of which being some of these intellect devourers, strange unnerving, almost corpse-like individuals that seem to be moving about at a sluggish pace, but still cognitive of things around them, but seem to be outside of their right mind in this strange place as they work to gather various minerals and liquids from these strange, massive bone collections buried deep within the rocks of this location. And as you descended further, disguised by potions and led by a Gamil that had taken on this gaseous form high above to try to signal best to you as he could the direction that he saw, while still also trying to remain out of sight of some of these individuals. You eventually came to a much more open location. Fonts and rows of this liquid, highly charged magical fluid flowing into this disturbing sight at the end of this massive cavern. Inside a giant glass vial, you saw what you could only describe as a massive brain-like entity. But inside this vial, this entity seemed to be inert, without life, and crumbling apart slowly in the liquid. Running some of the equipment directly beside this, you saw this strange alien-like creature with tendrils coming from their face, this grayish purple skin, these long talon-like fingertips moving about, and accompanying this individual, you saw once again the young female orcish woman, Ada Grot, the former companion and lover to your companion, Dazes. Upon entering this cavern, you sought to deceive these individuals into trusting you, Floof and Gamil, presenting a seemingly lifeless Gamil by way of magic as a corpse, a prize, if you will, as you sought to seek answers to what this was, what was going on in the world, and as you garnered a bit of information and were ordered to extract Gamil's very life essence that you now realize was the main source of energy flowing through this liquid, almost like life essence and life magic given form. You realize that this liquid was a precursor to the crystallized element you know now as Lunarium, carrying fundamental magics of life itself through this space. But nevertheless, as you chose to drop this ruse as your companions took point behind you, a battle ensued between yourselves, Adagrat, this strange alien-like creature, as well as some of the intellect devourers and enthralled individuals within this cavern. And after much back and forth and dangerous, tenuous circumstances, and your attack of this strange device and machine, although it was eventually activated, it didn't seem to function entirely as intended. But nevertheless, a massive beam of energy was launched directly through the rocky roof and ceiling of this cavern, upwards, quickly breaking into the night sky, directly through the silver and gold plateaus of Callista, as you now realize that you were no longer in Tafar, but a completely different location after passing through that seemingly illusory wall. And as the cavern and this sort of dig site began to crumble around you and cave in all locations, an unlikely individual appeared, one you had not encountered in many weeks. The strange, faceless, mask-wearing individual known as Dr. Nightingale, wearing this large, beak-like crow mask in leather attire, rushed towards you, baying you, or bidding you come with him as the entire cavern seemed to collapse upon you. And in those final moments before the rocks were to cover you forever below the earth of Irindal, you found yourselves sucked back into nothingness before reappearing on one of the plateaus within the city of Callista. And as you looked around, you saw chaos, creatures that were once few and far between, these intellect devourers, as well as individuals overrun with them internally, were now sowing chaos across the city, in addition to the chaos caused by the eruption of this beam of energy through the very earth itself. But on top of all of that, as you briefly looked up into the clear night desert sky, you saw, for the briefest of moments, a large, floating, island-like landmass with structures, the likes of which you had never seen before above the skies of Irindal. Seemingly struck by this beam, it remained briefly in the skies before once again vanishing into the darkness. But now, as chaos surrounds you, fires starting all over the city, you hear screams in all directions, shouts and sirens and calls and drums from around the city as emergency signals are being set in all directions. But nevertheless, just sheer pandemonium within the capital city of the Jamila dynasty. As you gather your bearings, unsure of how you exactly got here in this moment, what was that above your heads? And this strange temporary companion beside you. What would you all like to do?
Is that the structure still there, or did we only catch a glimpse of it through the beam? Can I still see it?
Go ahead and give me a perception check, Floof.
All right. Oh.
Unfortunately, you don't see anything. You see lots of clouds and lots of smoke and smell lots of fire.
Not in one.
Yeah, in fact, you go to rub your eyes because there's just soot and debris from the cave-in still in your eyes, so you really don't see anything.
I'm blind for 2 turns. All right.
I'll also try to look around and get a better idea of what's going on.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Oh, wow, look at that.
They go through.
No shot. There's no way.
Okay.
There's a 1 in 400 chance of that happening.
Oh,
The dust is just that thick.
comical. You go to look and stare, and as you squint your eyes, Dazes, a bug flies into one of your eyes as you're like, ah!
Oh, man.
Just as you were beginning to like come to your senses after being knocked unconscious below from the blast and almost dying from the resulting follow-up blast, just as you're beginning to gather that, you suddenly get struck in the eye with some sort of insect.
No, I don't see anything either.
I would also like to roll a 1.
Please, dear God, somebody roll another one.
There's
You're
a
all
one- there's
blind.
a 1 in 8,000 chance if you roll a 1.
There's a 1 in it, but
Okay.
I rolled a 12.
12 total. What are you specifically looking for?
I guess just trying to get my bearings and just see if if there's anybody of interest or anything of immediate attention that we can at least make our way towards.
Sure. You have dark vision, correct?
Yes.
So, yeah, you don't see this strange structure in the sky. It is all but vanished at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You see the clouds above where this seemingly kind of the after image in your mind of where it was, but you see just the clouds pushed away by the sheer force of whatever that blast of energy was. You see in front of you this massive crater where the walls of this destruction are just already beginning to cave in. The majority of the chunks of the plateau and the bridges around it that were directly struck by this have already caved in into this gigantic sinkhole that's probably, at this point, 50 to 60 feet wide. And you look down into this sinkhole, and it is just, even with your dark vision, just blackness. So you assume, based on the direction of that beam and where you were coming from, it had to have been hundreds of feet below the surface where you are now. But nevertheless, you do see and you hear cries and shouts, and you hear that sound of drums and horns all around you as you hear the clashing of metal weapons and the screams of individuals, and you can smell fire beginning to burn across the city in various locations. You see, you're right in the position between the silver and gold plateaus, right where this beam had erupted through the ground, was roughly in one of the larger segments of bridges connecting the various plateaus of the city. If you look to your left, or which would be almost due west, you can see the tower of the Magisterium Arcanum, the large opalescent tower, this obelisk sticking up, seemingly completely out of place of the rest of the architecture of this area. So very obvious to gather your bearings. And to your east, you can see below you the Bronze Plateau, the majority of the markets and the heavily populated area, and that is where the majority of these screams and chaos is ensuing. And you can see off in a distance, just behind the ever-arching segments of these plateaus, what you know as the fourth unofficial plateau, the Iron Plateau, or the slums of the city, truly is the epicenter of whatever is this chaos. There's even more of it going on in that location, and it is slowly spreading to other parts of the city.
And did you mention that there are like seemingly random people attacking others? So are we to assume that those are people who have been devoured intellectually?
The ones that you can see at this distance, Floof, with the bits of light from flashes of fire and various lanterns that have not been destroyed, or torches and things like that, the ones you see, you get the understanding based on what you've seen thus far and the amount of times you've encountered individuals that who have had their minds devoured by these creatures. You get the understanding, yeah, it doesn't make sense for individuals in guard attire to be fighting their compatriots. But suddenly you see that there's just all sorts of individuals that should otherwise be working together are now directly at odds with each other.
Okay. Gamil's with us, right?
He is.
Gamil, what do we do now?
I need to make sure we get to the royal family. If anything happens to them, then this city, this dynasty is truly lost. I would imagine that the personal guard is trying to hold up a blockade to the palace, but if these creatures have infiltrated that deeply into this city's infrastructure, then no doubt then they are simply trying to ascertain who is a friend and who is a foe. And as he's saying this, you hear, all three of you in your minds, including Gamil, the voice of the stoic, faceless Dr. Nightingale speak in your minds. You must leave. There is nothing we can do here. We must leave.
And we don't see him, he just says this in our head?
No, he's standing with you all still.
Okay.
He used some type of magic that you are not familiar with to bring you from below the surface up to where you stand now.
Okay. Where do we go?
I have a refuge northwest of here, near the city of Grossmauer.
I'm going to take a look around at the chaos, and I'm going to say, we can't leave these people here to die.
What would you do to try to salvage this situation? They are killing each other.
We kill enemies, ones who've changed.
You think that you can fight hundreds? Hundreds that you don't even know are foes?
We can try. There's got to be more unchanged people, right?
And how
There's
do we
children
know
here.
which ones are these unchanged? How do we know who is friend and who is foe?
I have been working on a theory of smelling brains.
As you hear this disgruntled voice in your mind, Gamil says, I understand your reservation. I appreciate you assisting us, whoever you are. But this is my home, whether they deem me acceptable or not. And I will do everything in my power to protect it and its people. And then he looks to you all. I cannot ask you to continue on at this point with me. If you wish to accompany me, that is your choice. But there's no telling what we might see on up ahead.
I look to Trash and Dazes and say, we have to try. As I see a kid get murdered in the distance. I'm just joking.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would rather, perish knowing that I at least tried than be in complete safety's way, but knowing that my safety and comfort is resting on the deaths of thousands upon thousands.
I'll say you and point at Nightingale. Crowface, you powerful magic. You have no way of determining. That's a big word for Floof. Who his mind has been lost.
Not exactly. These are strange, aberrant creatures, but nevertheless, they retain the memories of those they consume. I can try one by one, but I'll deplete every amount of magical resource I have left in no time at all, trying to determine individual by individual who is a friend and who is a foe.
Look at my spells here for a second.
I've also used quite a bit of my magic to get us out of that situation, in addition to getting into that strange device chamber. I was hoping to be more subtle about it, but then you all arrived. I do appreciate the unexpected assistance, but at the same time, I was hoping to keep it intact long enough to study and ascertain its capabilities.
Okay. And just so I'm clear, so the people underground before who were just zombie people, those were obviously acted way different than the people who are maybe fully devoured up here. Like,
You
there's
could
really no
definitely
way to tell.
You could definitely tell there was a difference.
Okay. But from our experience, maybe way back when we found the first one, in a conversation and just talking to somebody, there would be no way just by looking and hearing them that their intellect is devoured. Is that right?
Right. From what you've
Okay.
seen, that they still talk like the individual did when they were alive,
Okay.
before their minds had been consumed by these creatures. But
Got it.
the ones you saw acting like workhorses down in that cavernous area,
Okay.
you were unsure of what was going on. They just didn't seem to be all coherent. They didn't seem to be speaking. They were just operating on like instinct from what you observed.
Okay. But if and this is like maybe above the table because I just want to make sure I understand the mechanics maybe. But so if I'm seeing two people fighting right now in front of me, I wouldn't know which one is good friend or foe, right?
Not at a glance, no.
Okay.
Not without some sort of sussing out. Either via dialogue or some sort of action taken or spell used to try to ascertain to what allegiances they may have.
Okay. Got it.
I can tell you this. I cannot remain here any longer. The longer I do, the more risk I put myself in. And although I have no ill will towards these people, my sense of self-preservation outweighs my willingness to assist here. That being said, you watch as he slips out a piece of parchment and drags his palm across it quickly, and you see just ever so faintly a small series of text scribble out of nowhere from the end of his palm and onto this slip of paper that he folds over and clasps in your hand, Floof. Should you escape this place, come and find me at Gami's mantle.
I'll take the paper and say, see you soon.
He says nothing, and as you watch, he kind of steps back and just vanishes from your sight.
And what was the name of that place?
He said, find me at Gami's mantle. Gami apostrophe S Mantle.
And is this a place I've heard of before?
Give me a history check.
Oh boy.
You do not know Gami's mantle.
Okay, very well.
But with that, you watch as Camille shakes off this, brief encounter with Dr. Nightingale and looks to you all. If you are coming with me, I must head to the Gold Plateau. We must ascertain if the ruling powers of the city are still safe. From there, we can try to garner allies to assist with aiding the city. But you must understand that we will likely be treated immediately as other potential threats. I am no less an outcast of this city, and after what's transpired in the mesas, we are likely all not far from the Hangman's Noose, if you know what I mean.
Watching, I'm guessing there's some scuffles going around us, from whatever, but
Few that you can see in this area. There's not many in this direct, like, epicenter of the blast where you stand now. But, like, further down the stairs, you can see the guards that were previously stationed on either side of the stairs. You can see there are individuals trying to attack these guards, and all but a few of them are unsure of what to do, as they don't want to hurt what they assume are innocent citizens, but at the same time, others have kind of given way to this and have already either tried to subdue these individuals or outright, responding in kind. But
Okay.
there's still, the ones that you see nearby there's still a level of confusion from some of these posted guards.
okay, so is it a reasonable conclusion that maybe, so does it seem like there's an obvious aggressor? So like maybe like the people who are trying to attack people? Floof is just trying to figure out a way to see who's good and bad. Like,
right. In this instance, give me an insight check.
all right.
The 14. You can see in this particular instance there are two guards, one of which has a scimitar, and he is mostly you're watching him defend. He's not directly trying to swing back, as this young woman wearing pretty much normal garb she's drawn a dagger out and is just violently swinging at this guard, while one of her companions has a short sword that they've drawn, and they are like trying to climb across the other guard, and doing the guy's doing everything in his power to try to keep from getting stabbed by this longsword in this instance. And then on the other side of the stairs, you can see there are two guards over there, no other individuals, and they are directly fighting each other with similar-looking scimitars.
Okay. So
And it's a bit harder to tell who's who in that instance.
Okay, I'm gonna suggest. I'm gonna point to the girl who's maybe insightfully, anyway, acting crazy and aggressing. I'm gonna say that woman. I think she's bad. Let's capture her. I need to figure out a way to see who's devoured.
Okay. Trash and Dazes, what are you doing during this?
I am downing all of my healing potions at the same time.
Okay. You may
Well,
go ahead and
still
do that.
This isn't Diablo rules where we leveled up and get all of our HP back, right?
Absolutely not.
Alright, it was worth
You do get the
asking.
benefits of your new level abilities, but you do not get a healing boost, no.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, ideally I would have you level up in a more peaceful environment, but yeah, I think it was appropriate in this instance for other reasons.
Okay.
Also, yeah, if you guys haven't double checked to make sure you got all your level up stuff.
Dude, how come it's not letting me use this potion?
Do you have it in your inventory?
I have one, but never mind. I don't want to drink it. I don't like the stuff. I'll just die. Whatever.
Well, I have the Keegan's ointment stuff still. Also, if you want to go and to give you one of those.
That seems natural. I'll take one of those.
Yeah, that's from the Air Chakra, more natural. That's a 2d8 heal. Oh, 2d8 plus 2, excuse me. And I'll just take one off of my I have 4. I still have 4 doses. If you want more than one. Or trash, do you need one?
I'm okay for now. So.
That was good. Can I have another one?
Yeah.
You watch as Floof, as you're beginning to rush down these stairs towards these individuals, is just lathering himself with, with this oilish ointment.
Yeah, my plan is to try and capture the girl.
Okay. At this point, you're about 30, 40-ish feet away. In this particular instance, we won't roll initiative, but tell me how you try to go about either subduing or taking down this individual.
Yeah, I have I'm gonna attempt to hold person on them.
Okay. You're going to try to cast Hold Person?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the DC on that?
Oh,
16. 16 wisdom. Yeah. Oh, boy. They barely failed on that one. They don't have any modifier. So, yeah, they rolled a 14. So, you reach out your energies as you reach out your large mitt-like hand towards this individual in midair. Just as you come into range to cast the spell and speak the words in your mind and that spread out across your lips, you watch as she goes to just... And just as she's about to like jump on this guard's back and stab down into his chest, she just locks up and falls face first against the cold stone ground. As you look on the eyes of the guard's face, he's just wide-eyed and just horrified at what he's witnessing right now. He looks like a much younger Dragonborn, a bronze Dragonborn. Very dirty-ish, brownish scale. You can barely tell that it's bronze. He's more like brown scaled than like a bronze color. The luster of their scales haven't really come in yet. You can tell they're pretty young, like probably maybe late teens, like just coming into their post.
okay.
Likely not far off of the older students you saw within the Feedy Scale Dojo, but not as highly trained as those individuals. Probably, just based on their demeanor, probably not as well seasoned and trained a fighter, but still, given some amount of training, like fresh out of boot camp type kid.
All right. I will yell at him not to touch her.
I can do that. And you can watch as he's running over to try to assist the other guard that's being attacked by the older-looking man with the short sword, grabbing him from behind as the other guard just slugs this brown-haired human man across the face, just knocking him out cold. But you do have one unconscious man and one one held woman under the throes of your spell. What would you like to do?
Well, I guess first I'm gonna ask, what are you doing?
And you can see her like struggling to the point where like the magic is holding her in place, but it's almost like her muscles are so tensed up against the magic that you cast against her. She's like struggling, and you can see like the blood vessels in her eyes, and like the edge of like her soft tissues like bursting at the seams. Like she is very much hurting herself trying to break free of this spell, but not saying any coherent words. It's like kind of disturbing. It's like watching an exorcism mid-session.
Okay, so she's not even like... She's borderline incapable of speech. She's in such a rage right now.
That's the gist you get at this distance.
All right.
You're welcome to look closer or make any other investigation checks if you'd like.
I mean, I'll definitely be... I want to do a once-over, examine as much of her eyes, her... I might even try to listen to her heartbeat, smell her ear, anything I can to see if I could get something.
Give me either a medicine or nature check.
To be clear, her like screams while struggling don't sound like any type of speech. They're just like kind of general struggle sounds.
If there's any type of words, they're so muffled by just like insane screeching and just violent tendencies right now is what you garner. With an 18, you get the scent of... You get the sense she definitely has, like, initially the first sense you get is like some sort of like feminine like soap or cologne or or perfume or something, but you push past that overwhelming like floral scent, and as you sniff about the neck and the soft tissues, as this you hear the just as you continue to focus on your spell to hold this woman in place. And as you sniff around, like, the lips and the mouth and the nose, as you can see, like, if she wasn't held, she would probably try to bite your face off. But as you sniff around all the orifices of the cranium, you get this more, like, acrid scent that comes out ever so faintly.
Okay.
Definitely a scent that is foreign to any humanoid that you've ever been around.
All right. I mean, I'll tell the others. I'll be like, "There's something here, acrid smell, different, maybe sign of devoured intellect." And then I'm going to try one more thing out of desperation, maybe, or not. I just want to see... do I want to use a spell? I guess I have one more. I'm going to cast Dispel Magic. My instincts, I think, are saying it's not necessarily magic, but maybe something living in the brain, but I'm still going to try to Dispel Magic on her to see if that gets her to act normal.
Okay. You go to cast Dispel Magic. As you relinquish your hold, and just as you're doing that, your outstretched palm presses against just above her, like right in the, like right as she goes to lunge at you, as you release the other spell, she mere inches from your neck with this dagger, your hand presses against her breastplate, and you release this energy, this dispelling natural force coming directly from your core that washes over this woman. And you watch as this bloodthirst and rage within her eyes slowly vanishes as the eyelids grow heavy and she falls into your arms, unconscious.
Okay.
Is Dispel Magic it's a area effect, is it? Or is it just a... Choose
That's a really
one
good
creature,
question.
object, or magical effect within range. So, what is the... Does it tell you the total range of this spell?
Range area is 120 feet. Choose one creature or object, so I'm thinking it's not an area.
It's not an AoE. Okay. So as you cast this on this specific individual, you watch as whatever force was driving them to this madness is just washed away as if they were passed through some sort of... It's almost like your magic had this curtain-like effect, like passing through a waterfall. And as they rushed through it, whatever force was causing this mania seems to be just washed away all in a singular motion as they collapse into your arms. And you slowly take them to the ground.
Okay, and she does have a pulse still?
Yes, she's still alive. She's just unconscious.
Alright.
You can hear breathing, but she's unconscious.
My eyes will perk up a little bit, and I'll look to them and say, I think it's magic, not physical, that's causing them to act this way.
And as you're doing this and saying this, Floof, you can look over, and the man has the short sword is just giving hell to these two younger guards. If you're still capable of helping, would you mind dealing with this one as well? And you watch as this man is just frantically just swinging this short sword. Just no, like, sense of self-preservation and a similar sort of mania to what this woman was seemed to be displaying. You see across this bloodthirsty grin across his face. His eyes just bloodshot and wide as he's swinging this rusty short sword at both these young guards. And you can see they're doing their best to defend themselves, but they don't want to hurt the individual. But they're getting to the point where they're going to have to do something, or have someone else intervene.
Okay. Real quick, I'm gonna just so you're aware, I'm gonna use my natural recovery to get the spell back that I think I'm gonna want to use later.
Is that an ability? What ability are you using?
It's natural recovery. So once per long rest, I could replenish.
Gotcha. Okay.
An accrued up to
during
4
a
slots.
short rest. So during a short rest, you choose to expend as slots to recover. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna take a short rest, so never mind.
Right. So you're trying to get hit points back or magic back?
No, I was trying
You're
to get some
like
magic
another
back.
dispel back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So that
was
says
my
during a
plan.
short rest, you choose to expend spell slots to recover.
I see.
Yeah. So that's to recover HP.
Okay. I think I had Baldur's Gate brain for a second.
No, you're good. There are abilities like that. Just that's why I was like,
No, I think it is spells. It says you choose expended spell slots to recover.
oh, combined level. You can choose none of the spells.
It is during a short rest, though. But
Short
yeah.
rest. Yeah. I would say in this instance, you really haven't had an opportunity for a short rest yet.
Yeah, and
'cause
I don't think I would right now, but
Because you basically went from a cave-in to
To like
chaos. Yeah. To a
Okay.
city destroying itself.
Like it's
I
good
will
to have, but for
I will share with you guys that my magic is weak. Can't do that again.
I also don't know how to dispel magic, so I can't assist, and I don't know.
Well, we always had the tried and true
Could
knock
I-
'em out.
Could I try to identify like what's being cast so I know at least if there's a time frame for how long
Yeah, go ahead and give me an Arcana check as you watch this display unfold.
Okay. I got 17 for Arcana.
Okay. With a 17, you're not as familiar with illusory or enchantment magic. You're definitely certain this is one of the two. Either someone is putting some sort of illusory veil over the eyes of this individual, or they have been enchanted heavily into a maddened, crazed state. You've heard of a handful of spells that can invoke this sort of behavior in people. You're not as familiar of which ones exactly and what they do, but they do exist.
Hmm.
And there's also a number of creatures that can inflict this upon people on a consistent basis.
Would I have an idea of, like, even just a very wide estimate of, like, this will be like this for the next 15 minutes, or this will be like this for the next hour, or something?
In this instance, and given the rampant hysteria that you're witnessing right now and just how much self-inflicted damage that this is causing, you imagine that this won't last for very long. One of two things is going to happen. Either they are going to exhaust themselves, or they are going to get themselves killed by overexerting themselves to the point of exhaustion. You can see it, like, physically in the eyes of these individuals, in the flesh, in the blood vessels. As you got closer to this woman in particular, you can see these blood vessels have become so swollen and distressed that they're literally bursting and causing severe damage. With every, one of two things is going to happen. Either they are going to be taken down, find themselves in a situation where they get hurt in this hysteria, or their bodies are going to give out. So it's not intended to be a long-term thing, but only because the body physically can't sustain it for that long. You would imagine, given the amount of damage you've seen in a short period of time from this individual, they probably couldn't withstand this for more than, like, 10 minutes to 30 minutes tops. Like, just this sheer hysteria and bloodlust and or, mania that you're watching.
I'll just kind of shout, like, maybe we should try to find a way to restrain them, knock them out, like, non-lethally, try to put them to sleep, if we have anything like that.
I'll ask both Trash and Gamil, where are city's mages? In Magisterium, or what?
Yeah, I would imagine that they're in the Magisterium, but they have to kind of...
I looked at
have
Camille.
bigger fires to put out right now.
Trash, give me a history check.
Oh, wow, that's really good. 24.
You would remember that in moments of peril, magistrate facilities, strongholds, things of that nature, generally the protocol is to lock them down and assist as needed and perform one's duties to one's appointed position. You know that a number of magistrate officials, unless they work among the higher ranking segments of the Magisterium Arcanum, generally are appointed to work directly under ruling powers, individuals of nobility, various law enforcement agencies within the various segments, and powers within the or around the continent. They don't necessarily, show any type of preference to any one group, outside of course, the church, which operates separately, or various churches, I should say, of various deities. But the various churches of the Divine 12 that you're aware of operate separately of their own accord. But as far as the magistrate is concerned, they are both duty and honor bound to serve those they've been appointed to. So likely the reason you don't see those individuals is because they're probably doing everything in their power to protect those they are serving currently, unless they are directly trying to secure the stronghold, in this case the magistrate tower that you see in the distance. So one of those two potential avenues is more than likely where these individuals are at.
Gotcha. So I basically explain as such too.
I'll look to Camille. Need to tell them to stop the magic. Where are they?
Well, there are several mages, as those you saw accompanying the soldiers in the mesas. There are those loyal to the empire themselves, to the various houses of the dynasty. They are likely protecting the ruling family themselves. My guess is atop the Gold Plateau, if they have not been consumed themselves, but they are likely with the ruler. So if we are to garner their abilities, that would be the location I would head to. Pardon me for a moment. And he rushes over as this individual is about to stab one of these young guards, and he flips the blade behind, and... One sec here. Oh, yeah. And just blunt ends the back of this dude's head with the one of his blades, knocking him out cold. And you watch this guard just slumping over and looking up at Camille. And you see this... Although you see an immediate sense of recognition of who this is, but at the same time, that concern is overshadowed by the thankfulness of not having a blade against his throat. You look over the two other guards that were fighting, one of which is... you see has run through the other one. Like, you see just pools of blood coming from this individual, and the pointed end of a sharpened rapier coming through one side. And as they slump down and their head hits the ground, it immediately cracks open like an egg, and you see this skittering four-appendaged Intellect Devour starts scurrying off into the brush as this occurs.
I'm gonna say, I mean, I'm guessing I see a lot of this happening everywhere, and Floof's thinking, I can't help everybody. So my thought is to get to the Gold Plateau and try to share the knowledge of this magic that is turning everyone crazy. So, unless somebody stops me, I'm going to say I'm going to tell them, and I'm going to take a wild shape of a giant vulture and start flying towards the Gold Plateau to tell the higher ups what's up.
Oh, that's right. You have flying abilities now.
I've been desperate to use it.
How is your giant vulture a large or medium-sized creature?
Large beast.
Okay.
And if that's big enough to carry Gamil with me, I will.
I believe you can carry one medium-sized creature. Let me double check that. Check. Giant vulture. Let me look at this one specifically. It might be... Apologies, everyone, as I look something up, because I don't remember.
No worries.
The joys of druids. Trying to remember all the shit they can do. But as
Really,
this is...
I feel like, because I play Monk on my other thing, and
Yeah.
like, I could do like 4 things, but when I look at my shit on my character sheet as a druid, I'm like almost overwhelmed. There's so much you can do.
There's a lot. Druids are an interesting group. They are very much a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
With their wild shapes. So, where's the carrying capacity? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for not being clear. Oh, okay, here we go. Speed. Okay, strength is 15, large creature. I remember the rules as written. It is roughly 50 pounds per point addition, so plus large. I would guess in this instance you could probably carry 2 medium creatures at a normal speed, or you could carry all 3 of your companions. So, because trash is considered small in this instance, so it wouldn't be as, but you would be moving at a slower pace.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put my hand on both Dazes and Floof's shoulder and say, "Don't die." And I'm gonna take that wild shape. And right before I say, "Gamil, get ready," and then I'll change to the vulture and scoop him up and start heading towards the gold plateau.
Carrying Gamil or carrying...
Gamil.
Okay.
I told my friends not to die, so they're fine.
I'm not okay with flying! As you grab Gamil without much warning, scooping him up into the air. Trash and Dazes, you watch as this massive vulture, where your companion once was, just scoop up Gamil and begin sailing towards the palace at the edge of the gold plateau. And you can see just pillars of smoke, even in this area, beginning to rise up from various corners of this segment of the city. In fact, I think I still have that image of... But as he does this, what are the 2 of you doing? Let's see. Just to get a better view of that particular area.
I had a phone call for a bit, so that other person that was straining themselves, did we resolve that, or are they still straining themselves?
Gamil knocked them out.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, yes. TLDR, Gamil knocked them out, and the other guard that was... the 2 guards that were fighting, one killed the other, and then a devourer popped out of the dead man's skull. And scurried off.
Fantastic.
So, now that you have that visual image in your mind, you just watched your companion Floof transform into a giant vulture and whisk Gamil towards the palace at the head of the Golden Plateau, leaving you and Trash to follow behind on foot.
I also gave explicit instructions to not die.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was said.
Oh, yeah, we will do it. Do our best there.
to expedite that whole discussion, that is where we stand.
Great.
With that, what would you like to do?
Unless you have a better idea, I think we just continue the good work and try to knock people out so they don't overexert themselves, and
Yeah, that seems like a pretty okay idea to me. Is whoever we pass along the way who we can
assist or
assist in that
some,
way.
yeah.
Okay. Floof, if I can get you to roll me a d20, please. Just a straight d20. And then either Trash or Dazes. Trash or Dazes. And I get one of you to roll me a straight d20 as well.
Would you like to do it, or?
You do it.
Okay.
I don't like, for some reason, I feel like my roll would be bad.
Okay.
Mine was a 17.
17? All right. Floof, you don't encounter any initial, as you're gliding up and above the majority, but you do look down and you can see through the vulture's eyes, you can see a number of these small skirmishes taking place. Unsure of who is who at this distance, you see multiple armored individuals on the Golden Plateau fighting each other amidst these tipped over braziers and fire pits that have been kicked over, smoke and fine linens and silks and things, tapestries already beginning to be set ablaze in what you imagine in some means of causing just panic and hysteria in any way, shape, and form possible. And you see as Gamil is still kind of shuddering and freaking out from being dragged up into the air, looks down and manages to focus through this panic of being dragged into the air. At first, look down as he points, and you see there is a small contingent of guards that have kind of made a formation around one of the main gates, but there is a larger contingent of individuals beginning to surround them at the edge of this this sort of makeshift barricade. And among these individuals that are barricading the door, you recognize the thin-framed Dragonborn that had started this whole ordeal with you all when you arrived in Callista, the figure Parathava.
Yeah. Still alive.
Indeed.
Yay.
What do you do?
Hold on a second. Oh, okay. So she was a friend, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she was the one who sent us initially.
Yeah, she was Gamil's former lieutenant and now the captain of the Silver Talons, or the Steel Talons.
Well, the priority is to get to someone with magic to spread the word. I'll give out. I mean, I can't speak at this time, but I'll leave a caw with a slight high pitch at the end, suggesting like, is that really where you want to go right now? And make sure that that's where he wants to. I mean, I'm trusting him.
Can you please reenact what that would sound like, please? Go ahead.
I am not commenting on that. Please take me down there. I must assist them. That leads into the main chambers of the palace.
All right, that's what I needed here. I will swoop down, and I will, to the best of my ability, anyways, set him down next to her. As
you release your talons from Gamil's shoulders, he kind of rolls forward, kind of keeping the momentum as he draws his blades up, and he's going to make a series of attacks and also summon his echo. We're going to kind of theater of the mind this, but
okay.
Yep, and he's going to unleash Incarnation. Ooh, and there's a crit, so cool. That is gonna be a lot of dice. Real quick. So I'm just gonna do. You watch as the first two strikes, the first one coming up behind the neck of one of these individuals, trying to drive a spear over the top. A young man in just street clothes trying to drive a spear up. He brings the back of the blade up, the flat of the blade, and just cracks him across the back of the head to try to knock them out. The second strike, you watch as he comes across, doing the same thing, not completely knocking the individual out, but as he comes forward, the echo comes from behind, kicks his feet out from under him, and just slams him chest or back first down into his chest with the end of this shadowy hilt, just causing him to cough up some blood, but just knocking him out cold. These two individuals that seem motionless at the time. Floof, what do you do? There are 3 other individuals attacking right now, and a number of other ones that are trying to rush forward through smaller skirmishes.
And is Parathava seemingly by herself? Everyone else?
She has 2 other guards beside her in their armor, like similar, well-polished armor and similar shield and iconography. So you imagine they are associated in some way because their uniforms sort of match hers.
All right. Floof is thinking his wild shape is full right now to get around, but he'd be more effective in a fight if he dismissed it. He can't carry 4 people, and wishes that the other 2 weren't there, so he could just leave. But for now, I will just...
I mean, you're pretty effective in a fight in your current form.
Yeah, that's true. I'll do a multi-attack on...
Okay, I was about to say, you have multi-attack,
closest,
and you have a pretty
yeah.
decent amount of damage, so...
Yeah, on the closest...
not an excessive amount of hit points, but you are pretty mobile.
Yeah, I'll definitely
Also, you
attack.
do have advantage because of your pack tactics, because you're in close range of an ally.
Oh, sick.
So all these attacks have advantage.
Well, then, yeah, I'll attack the closest threat.
Okay, go ahead and give me the first of your multi-attack here. So it's going to be, yeah, whatever that is, plus...
Oh, one of them was a crit.
Oh, well, that's a crit in that instance. So, that's... Go ahead and roll the other one. So that's with the beak. Go ahead and roll the talons as well. So it's... Yeah, it would have been a 24 anyway with the 20 that you rolled. But... it's basically 2d20s and then plus 4. Yeah. Both solid strikes.
That's the other attack.
Yeah, both of them hit. The 18 just hitting.
Okay, and now...
So the first one, go ahead and roll. It's 4d4 plus 2 in this instance, because you rolled a crit on that one.
Alright.
Solid strike as you bite down. Are you trying to kill this individual, or are you just trying to maim them and knock them out? I mean, you can call it non-lethal in this instance.
Yeah, non-lethal. No?
Okay. You bite down, and you find a... You bite down on the shoulder, biting down and causing a lot of, like, pain as you bite down and crack the collarbone. And then bite down, trying to just, you know, cut off temporarily cut off their source of air. As you watch this individual just collapse to the ground in pain. And then the second strike is you reach out to this individual. Not quite as good. They're still up and about and swinging, but still a solid strike to the waist as you draw blood across their sternum. Or not sternum. Their ribs.
Okay. Would I be able to fly upwards without an opportunity attack, or?
Not in this instance. Because you are within melee of these individuals now.
Okay. It might still, if we're gonna get bum rushed, it might be better to just take one hit than 5.
Well, you do have. I mean, there's 2 individuals here.
Okay.
One of which you just attacked. The other 2 are already downed, or 3
okay.
were down. There's only 2 remaining of the 5.
Oh, okay. All right. Then yeah, I'll stay where I am.
Right. Go ahead and roll me a d20 real quick. Just a straight d20.
Oops.
Okay, so the 2 aggressors are going to attack. One is going to turn around and try to strike you in your vulture form here. That is a hit against your vulture form. Because you have an AC of 10 right now. That is 5 slashing damage with a short sword as it comes up and catches you across the chest. As you try to fly back, he catches you right across the chest.
I'm gonna quick question. So
Yes.
On the character sheet for the giant vulture, it's like 22. I don't know if that's like the mid thing. Could I roll it to see what my health is instead? Take the risk. Because it says 3d10 plus 6 is my HP. It defaults to 22. I'm guessing that's like the middle.
I'll allow it in this instance. Generally, I take the given hit points.
All right.
Well, either way. Generally, I do.
well.
I'll allow it. But
I like
anyway,
gambling.
yeah.
And
The
how much did I
second
take?
5 slashing damage.
Okay.
The other one, you see this armored guard with a large halberd is going to try to swing at Parathava with his halberd, using that. Yeah, definitely hitting that.
Ignore that.
Slicing down hard, and you watch just this flow of blood. She definitely takes a hard hit, but you can see that she's probably taken some nasty blows over her time and doesn't allow it to overcome her focus. But she's going to swing as well a couple times. Yes, and yes. In fact, I'm going to have you roll the damage, Floof. Go ahead and roll me 3d8. And then plus 4, so that's going to be an even 20. As this individual collapses from the strike, and then her guard companion is going to swing over at the one that you struck with your talons, hitting there as well, since you guys are flanking each other. Go ahead and roll me 2d8 this time. Yeah, and the second strike this time, after you carved into this individual with your talons across their ribs, this time you watch the guard draw forward with his longsword and butt in this individual right in the gut, just knocking the wind out of them as they collapse over this barricade. You look on in this moment as there's a sense of concern as these 3 individuals, 2 of which have, one has a longsword, and Parathava has her like curved scimitar, and this other guard is carrying this long spear. And as he sees this giant vulture, squawking and rearing up in front of him, he's like, "Ah!" As he's like drawing this blade, and you see Gamil step forward. "Settle down, soldier. They are a friend." And as Gamil speaks and looks directly at these 3 individuals, there's like a mixture of stunned, concerned, and genuine relief. And they're not quite certain of how to place this, but nevertheless, they're it's more of a look of appreciation in this strange, chaotic, unknown moment that none of them were prepared for. And with that, we're going to step back over to Dazes and Trash, leaving you further down the steps to rush up from behind this whole ordeal. With a 16, you managed to slip by a number of times, a few well-placed jabs here and there of individuals that you can very clearly see are in this heightened state of mania, back and forth as you deliver a number of blows. Dazes, Trash, you coming from behind and either suffocating these individuals with your natural form or blood-ending them with, some blunt end of one of your weapons a number of times until you reach the base of this final stair heading. Now you're fully in the Golden Plateau as you're rushing up these steps. And as you're coming up the steps, you can see there is a large four-legged or creature at the base of the height of these steps. I'm sorry. The height of these steps. As you come up and you're, running, still kind of catching your breath, and you look on, this creature turns, staring you both in the eyes. Its maw, its lower jaw extending out, these two curved tusks, as it stares you both with just sheer aggression. You've never seen a creature quite like this before. The two lower tusks jetting out in either direction, not quite in a symmetrical manner, very jagged and unkept. Its flesh covered in these little pockets of hair, almost like it's been slowly, what's the term? Like it's got some sort of strange, like, skin disease, like it had once had more hair, but it's just been falling off in large chunks. And you can see its eyes are just bloodshot and crazed, just like the humanoid individuals that you have encountered up until now. Go ahead, both of you, roll initiative. We're gonna kind of theater of the mind this.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty bad initiative. Only 5.
What's your dex mod?
Me?
Yeah, what's your dex
Dex
mod?
mod
Or what's your dex in
is-
general?
Well, 15 and then plus
15.
2.
Okay,
Oh,
you're
fine.
gonna go first because you matched with them.
Okay.
Yeah. Dazes, you are first to act. You can see this creature just snarling and drooling, those same bloodshot eyes, and as it opens this maw, as it's beginning to turn towards the two of you with very aggressive intent, beginning to just lumber forward. Its two front legs, very bulldog-like, as it steps forward, its hind end just kind of following behind, these sharpened claws digging into the stone tiles as it begins to rush forward, but you have the jump on it. What would you like to do?
May I ask, can magic damage be non-lethal? Or is that not possible with magic damage?
Not really. Not in this case, no.
Okay.
Yeah, ranged and magic damage are generally non-lethal.
Okay.
Yeah, it would need to be some sort of melee damage. But what you see from this, you've never seen a creature like this. What you do see at this distance, it has some sort of collar around its neck. And at the end of that collar is a broken chain. You imagine that this was some sort of beast, some sort of guard animal that's gone crazed and broken free.
Okay. All right. Well, I will I guess I'll attack it with my quarterstaff for now,
Okay.
just for the first attack.
All right. Let's see it.
No.
22 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. And I'll do the second attack too with the quarterstaff.
Okay.
Alright.
22 hits again. The first strike, boom, you clock it right up under the bottom of the jaw as it begins to extend. The second strike, slamming it over, and you can see a crack forming in one of the tusks.
And then I'm going to let me see. I want a bonus action. Oh, you know what? Actually, what I'm gonna do is try to stunning strike with that second quarterstaff attack.
Okay.
So it's just they have to do a con saving throw, and they have to beat a 15.
Okay. They rolled a natural 20.
All right, that didn't work.
As you strike in, you don't quite, you can, as you hit, you definitely make contact, but the muscular nature of this creature and in its heightened state of frenzy, it's like hitting a brick. Like, it is just like hitting a brick wall. Like, there is no give to the muscle mass of this creature.
All right. And I'm going to go ahead and use my bonus action to do Flurry of Blows. And if... in advance, I'm just going to say, if one of these hits, I'm expending, like, a shit ton of my, like, ring charges.
Okay.
All at once on this thing.
All right, let's see
You
it.
don't have time for this.
Okay. That definitely hits.
Okay. Give me a second to real quick look and see what kind of damage these do again.
If I remember correctly, it's 2d8 of lightning damage per charge.
Yeah, that's for the...
Your knuckles.
Yeah. Well, I have the knuckles, and then I have the Ring of the Ram, too.
Oh, that's right. You do have
That's
the ring of
2D.
the ram.
Yeah, it's 2d6 for the knuckles.
Okay, 2d6.
And the
Okay, I
ring
can
is
remember.
2d10 force damage.
For the ring of the ram.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm throwing everything.
Okay. Hey man, smoke him if you got him.
Yeah, I'm trying to
You're in a city that's burning to the ground.
I'm actually gonna do. Oh, they both. Okay, never mind. They both regain at dawn, so I'm just gonna. All right. I guess there's no way for me to say like I'm gonna use these until the HP gets down to 0 because I don't know what the HP is, but.
Yeah, you're
just...
not quite certain.
So I'm gonna throw all 3 of my Durin charges at it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna. Is it a large size creature?
Yeah, it's given your I would say it's large in this instance.
So yeah, all 3 of my Durin charges, and I guess I'll do. Oh, sorry, all 4 of my Durin charges.
Okay. So
and
that would be 8d6.
Yeah. We'll start there for now, I guess.
Okay. Let's see it.
I have to roll this 4 times. I probably should just, I'm just gonna roll.
Yeah, you can just roll.
D6.
Yeah, just / roll 8d6.
Since I rolled 2, I'm gonna just roll the other 6.
Okay, there you go.
So there you go. Look for a total of 33 more damage.
How do you want to do this?
Where am I hitting it?
I mean, your first strike was under the chin. The second strike across the jaw, almost breaking one of the tusks. So wherever you want to hit from there, releasing your primary hand with the knuckles on it.
I guess we'll just go as close to the brain as possible. So top of the head.
You strike it directly into the temple, just injecting this surge of thunderous energy as you drive it into the skull of this creature. You can feel as you release all these charges in a singular blow. It's almost like your fist is just twice its normal size, and like you're striking with this charged gauntlet that comes down and just as you press this creature down into the stone floor, just cratering it as it just sploots across this stone floor, and its skull just crushed. You can see one of the tusks just breaking off and just careening down the stone stairs. But it is completely lifeless and motionless after that.
I say a prayer.
Who do you say a prayer to?
Oh, like a prayer, like a Actually, who are the
gods that you're most familiar with?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a handful of them. You're obviously familiar with the goddess of luck, Timura, which is one side of the coin that you carry within your pocket. You're familiar with the goddess Bashaba, her twin sister and equal and opposite force of ill omens, also known as the Lady of Ill Omens. And you're also familiar with... just a moment here. You'd think I would remember my own pantheon, but I can think of the name. I just want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. What is it? Yumangunda, the world sea serpent, is the other one that you're quite familiar with, being a man of the sea. Oftentimes, although they are a less than ill-intent god, they are often prayed to as a form of appeasement, not so much because people directly worship them, but try to appease the angry serpent to subdue them on a voyage. So I would imagine one of those three that Dazes would be mostly familiar with.
Okay. I'll pray to the goddess Timora as a prayer of thanks for the strength to fell this beast quickly in this time of need, and thanks for respect for the creature's life. Also.
Very nice. You feel the ever so faintest warmth in your pocket as the edge of the coin drags across your hip. But with your focus now on reuniting with your companions, you don't allow it to distract you as you motion to move forward, ever closer towards the palace coming up on the horizon as you step up onto the main plateau area. In this image, you can kind of see you would be just at the edge of the lower half of this area, rushing towards one of the main entrances into this palace. You can see the tapestries and carpets that line this stone floor have just been shredded or burned or just torn to pieces and flung in all directions. You see these braziers and these lanterns and torches just strewn about, and the natural fire just tipped over and beginning to burn anything that is flammable. And you see any of the lunarium lanterns either toppled over or extinguished or shattered, their contents flung to God knows where, as you rush down this long open corridor through a number of arches down towards your impending destination here. And as this encounter is going on, in the distance you can see directly in front of a large gateway opening, you see the large, darkened silhouette of your transformed companion, Floof, amongst a number of individuals, including Gamil. And even at this distance, your perceptive eyes, Dazes, you can see the feminine form at a distance of Parathava. The one had begun this whole sort of journey once you first arrived in Callista. Your journey that brought you in contact with Gamil and got you involved in whatever is going on now. But with that said, as you come together, you can see as you use a massive blow to crush this seemingly enraged, frenzied guard dog that had been once a protector of this place turned rabid mongrel, now put down at the base or the top of the stairs. You proceed towards the doors, and you see not only Parathava but a number of the Steel Talon knights, as well as your companion Floof in his vulture form, and Gamil beginning to have a conversation. Floof, as you kind of stand in this form, you can hear the rushing of footsteps coming from behind you, and you see with your almost bird-like optic senses now kind of taking over in this instance. You turn, and just ever so slightly, you can immediately see the silhouette of your companion Dazes and your other companion Trash rushing up from behind you. After you heard this massive crack of thunder and this sound of smashing stone just before that to catch your attention. But with the two groups back together, what are you all doing?
I still want to keep... Or, wait, I'm going to give Gamil an opportunity to explain what's going on. Or I guess anybody to Parathava before I dismiss my wild shape. I'm hoping somebody... I feel like I'm metagaming now. Explains to her what the magic stuff.
Sure.
And I'll squawk loudly towards everyone to start telling her what's up. With it was an urgent squawk.
Gamil, is this one with you? You watch as Gamil nods. He is a friend. He is a shape changer of sorts, attuned to the natural world. He is a friend. He is one of 3 that have been accompanying me for several days now, bringing me back from the depths of despair, if you will. We were trying to find the source of whatever is causing this, and although we were successful, it seems we were not entirely present in time to stop whatever they were intending to let loose upon the city. I apologize for even being present here. I understand that and you look as Parathava's. Just don't even say it. Don't care. I will not turn down a talented warrior and a friend in an instance where the city will otherwise burn. Tradition be damned. We need to... She turns, noticing that a number, the 2 guards that are beside her. Men, you will hold this line with your lives. Do you understand? And they're still kind of nodding, unsure what to do with the former captain, their former captain standing in front of them. I understand the rumors, but without his help, we would not be here right now. forsake traditions in this one moment and do what you must to protect your city. Protect your ruler, protect your people. And with that assertive order, you look as they both just salute. They slam their fists and weapons into their chest and take up position. Kind of moving forward, trying to assist those directly in front of them that are still in these small micro skirmishes around the entrances to the palace. As Parathava turns to the three of you, right as Dazes and Trash, you rush up. It is a pleasure to see you all alive and well. Well, alive, at least. I understand that this is not a ideal circumstance, but we need to find the ruler of the city. If they are to succumb to whatever this madness is, there's no telling what would occur afterwards. And if we are lucky, we can ascertain the location of a number of the capable Royal Sworn mages who might be able to assist as well. And Gamil kind of turns to you all. These individuals can attest to what has occurred. It seems that some of these individuals are simply under some form of enchantment, derangement, mania, whatever you want to call it. But others have been lost. You're saying that the Devourers have taken them. And he kind of nods to her. I can't explain too much more. We need to find... Yes, of course. Come with me. And you watch as she reaches for her belt, and she's got like a large key that she drives into the metallic portion of the door and turns it open, kicking open the door as quickly as possible. Come. We need to hurry. I left the Sultan with a number of guards, but I am concerned they may not be of the right mind. Those we were confronting suddenly turned on us. If they did the same, then we could have much greater concerns. As she says this, what are the three of you doing?
How big is this that we were...
It's a huge door. She pushes... One side of it is probably like 8 feet wide.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this massive wood door that's like probably like 3 inches, 4 inches deep. And like just this beautifully carved like hardwood and engraved and painted, this beautiful design. And although it's scorched, you can still see that, you know, it has this intricate inlays and whatnot. But it's a massive like castle door. And only one half of it, like the opening itself, can open up wide to nearly like 20 feet wide.
Okay.
Yeah, more than enough for your form. Yeah.
Okay.
Where must we go to find these individuals? Are the
Sultan
royal
will,
family
they will be in the throne room.
And what of the mages?
At least one will be accompanying the Sultan. The others either protecting the doors, placing arcane wards, or being hidden in order to protect the Sultan. There are generally at least 2, but likely 3, if they are still of their right mind.
I suppose we'll find them on our way in.
Yes. Come along. And she rushes you through. Again, as you come into the palace, it's eerily quiet here. It's this massive open stone space. The last time you were here in this space, you remember these polished floors, like almost a mirror finish. Just like somewhere between just immaculate, beautiful, like hotel lobby, and just gaudy, like covered in all sorts of inlay of gold and precious metal, just unnecessary luxury to its extreme, implemented over decades, if not, hundreds of years of this sort of like, excess on top of excess of architecture. In this instance, as you run through these halls, looking through, Dazes, or Betty, all of you give me a perception check.
I rolled a 19.
19. Floof and Trash, you can hear there are voices coming from multiple directions. You can hear on one side of, as you come to this three-way split, moving forward, there's this large empty dining hall. You don't really hear any movement or sounds of voices, but as you turn right, you can hear there are a number of more feminine-sounding voices, and they sound in severe duress. And then to the left, you can hear more masculine and a mixture of voices, and they're shouting in that direction too. What are you all doing?
I probably want to help, maybe thinking. The voices.
You're
probably
breaking
needs
up.
help. Oh, really?
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit.
Sorry about that. Am I still doing it?
No, you're good now. I think you
Okay.
just might have been too far away from the mic.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Floof's thinking women could use help. Probably more. Sorry, sexist. Women and children, So that's. I'm just missing my wild shape. I can't beat this bird anymore. I gotta talk. I think we're indoors now, right? We're in the castle, like a castle.
Yeah, you're in these wide, polished stone floor corridors. There are mirrors and openings, like kind of doorway openings. There's no like actual door in there. They're just kind of arched and inlaid with this beautiful like stonework and masonry all over in these kind of pitched archways, kind of like what you see in the image now. There's not actual doors. They're just like large framed openings.
Okay.
Of stone and polished woods, marble and tile, and just a wide mixture of like precious materials.
Okay, yeah, I definitely don't feel like my vulture form is practical here, so I'm definitely going to dismiss that.
You watch as your companion Floof kind of surrounds himself in these wings as they kind of shrink down, and even though they're still smaller than this vulture form, still the large shoulders are replace the feathery wings as they kind of wrap down. The legs, although shorter, more stocky and stout as your companion Floof returns to his normal form beside you all.
I will say, never flew before. That was wild.
Would you say it was a
Wow.
wild shape?
Wild
It was.
That was a bad joke.
It was all right.
Do y'all think
Yeah.
it would be a bad idea to split up here?
We same goal. Gotta find mages and help. Maybe good idea. How we split?
That's a good question. Those noises, were you said they were both behind like doors, right? Left and right, or openings.
You
I
hear
guess?
you're not quite sure where they are. You know, There are 3 different paths. There's one directly in front of you leading to this, what looks like a large dining hall with tables, and you can see like fine china and things all over these groups of tables, but you don't sense any movement. You don't hear any voices in that space, but you hear fainter but more masculine shouting from your left side as you rush into this kind of 4-way split. The way you came from, obviously, you already know what's back that way, but you've kind of come to this divide. Going to the right, you can hear the screams, more feminine screams and younger screams, and you can hear to your left, you hear shouting like a mixture of voices of various pitches and octaves.
Okay. Our compatriots, which direction would be more towards like the throne?
Gamil looks at you all.
Gamil or Paradox.
Both of them look at you. The throne room is to the left here. Down these hallways, and a few turns left and right, we'll reach the main audience chamber. To the right, I would imagine, is the... Oh no. Oh no. That would be the servants' quarters. The majority of the staff, the handmaidens, any entertainers or guests would all be in that direction. And with the fewest amount of protection, Yes. And you get the impression there's this sense of, oh no. That, there was no, up until this point, unless there was some sort of, well, Parathava kind of, there were no visitors at this time. Everyone of import was still up in Tafar for the celebration there, and the resulting conferences after, and trade deals, and the only people here now would be servants and lesser court members. They wouldn't have any means of protecting themselves, and generally we don't supply as many guards in that area as there's never been an attack of this nature, and oh goodness. Gamil, please, regardless of what the Sultan says, please go protect him. I must see to... And he cuts her off. I would want you to do nothing else. And you watch as she immediately begins to dart towards that right-hand side. But you get the understanding based on this quick kind of rushed conversation that there are probably more individuals in that right-hand direction, but you get the understanding that the Sultan's quarters and the audience chamber are to the left.
Any preferences?
I'll say many will die if we don't stop this need to go left. I think.
I'm gonna look towards Gamil and I'm gonna say, do you think Parathava can handle this alone?
As much as I trust my former lieutenant, I do not know if she's a capable fighter who can handle herself even when outnumbered, but I do not know what is happening in that direction. I do not know how many combatants have penetrated these defenses. How many are under this, whatever spell is taking over our city. Even a capable warrior can be swiftly outnumbered and outmatched given sheer numbers.
take some ointment, slather myself up real quick,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say I will provide her aid. And I'm going right.
Okay. Floof and Trash, what are you doing?
I'm gonna look to Camille and see what he really wants to do. If he seems to want to help Parathava, then I'll do that. But if the course is to go left, I'm basically doing what Camille wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have a duty whether they cast me out or not. I must protect our sacred ruler. I trust my lieutenant and I trust your friend. But if we lose our Sultan, we lose this city. As he turns and rushes to the left-hand side towards towards the audience chambers, where you all had first met the Sultan weeks ago.
I'll turn to follow, and I will stop and turn around and yell, "Don't die," and hope that Dazes hears it.
I'll call back. See you all soon.
Trash, what are you doing?
I was gonna basically follow Floof because I agreed with his idea.
Okay. Starting with Dazes and Parathava, you follow behind. She is, although wearing a medium set of armor, she is incredibly agile. Like, almost to your extent, Dazes, incredibly so. She is just rushing, just spinning when necessary, but every movement is not exaggerated. It is a sequence of well-timed rolling of her body to not minimize or relinquish any of that momentum as she cuts through these corridors, almost like a child skidding and sliding through these slippery floors, but trying to maximize as much speed as possible, to the point where she's giving you a run for your money, literally, through these hallways. And as you grow closer to the source of these sounds, these screams, you hear, now it is very clear, you hear more, it's similar to the sort of snarling you heard from the dog earlier, but it sounds more like ravenous and like just twisted and guttural and just insanely hungry. As you turn, you can see that some of the torches and lanterns have been tipped over, and some of the tapestries have begun to catch flame as you're forced to sort of lunge over through this framed opening. Go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw as you try to pass through unscathed. Yeah, you duck through, covering your eyes and your nose and your mouth so you don't inhale some of the smoke coming off of this burning tapestry fire. As you kind of jumping roll into this chamber, you can see there are cushions and sofas all around in this area, curtains and things of that nature, but also tables just covered in various sewing projects and things of that nature. But also you see scattered across the back wall a number of servants, court maidens, a handful, like 2 or 3 guards carrying just minor weaponry that they have just shaking hands as they point towards what you see are these two emaciated looking four-legged creatures, not unlike the ones that you saw earlier. These are bony, and their flesh is taut against their frames. As you see this drool beginning to form over their jaws, pooling down in front of them as they slowly are approaching this group of probably about 24 people, including the guards and all the servants. You see among them some of the servants are very young, like tweens or early teenage years. Some maybe even under 10, just beginning their duties for the first time, are cowering against the wall as these two large creatures, as you kind of see, as you grow closer, you can smell too. They have this acrid, horrid smell to them. Not unlike the smell that you got around some of these individuals drawn into this insane mania, this crazed hysteria around here. And as you roll into the chamber alongside Parathaba, she's already drawn her scimitar forward, kind of taking a battle stance. And one of the creatures turns to face you. These bloodshot, yellowy eyes stare you down as this maw grows wide. And you would expect it to extend quite far, given its canine nature, but it extends even further than that. And further than that. And even further. It is like... It's like the lower jaw is breaking free and lowering down to nearly spread almost 3 feet wide from edge to edge. Whatever these creatures are, they are not of anything domesticated in any way and have been set loose. And as you grow close, that horrid, acrid scent catches your nose as you struggle to... and it burns into your temple. Give me a wisdom saving throw, Dazes.
Wisdom from a smell? What the hell is this?
Shake it off. It is horrid. Horrid smell. And you see Parathaba in a struggle to try to... from losing her sanity, grabs her blade and cuts it across the back of her hand, drawing blood to try to cause pain to keep from losing her sense of self in this process. Whatever these creatures are, you get the sense that they are causing this mania. Whatever this scent is, whatever this presence they give off is causing this horrid insanity in the individuals they encounter. With that, we're going to go to the other group. Trash, Floof, accompanied by Gamil, you rush through the corridors, through the well-appointed, designed corridors as they grow wider and wider as you get closer to the main audience chamber of the Sultan of the Jamila dynasty. You can see a number of portraits all across the walls as you head down this long corridor, and you look as Gamil kind of turns to you all. This is it, right here. We must turn right and we'll be in the chamber. And you can hear there is shouting coming from this chamber. Cries, and you can hear the sound of shouting orders. Does either of you speak Draconic?
No.
No.
Okay. Then you don't understand, but you can see an intensity form in Gamil's eyes as he is just running as hard as he can, trying to get to this chamber. And as you turn this corner, a familiar sight of the chamber you all had first met with the Sultan, the first time you had met the Grand Arcanist, Darius Oberson, in this chamber, when your companion Floof had all but nearly caused an incident with the Sultan, but nevertheless managed to avoid any misunderstandings. But now, as you run in to this darkened situation, you can feel the heat of fire coming from within this chamber. Unkept, unhempered flames are billowing up some of these long tapestries that go up this 30-foot chamber wall as some of these braziers have been kicked over, and you too see 3 more of these creatures. These bony, slack-jawed, sharpened teeth, piercing, yellowy, acrid eyes, the stink of whatever this liquid coming out of their maw is giving off this horrid, acrid scent all around you. I need Trash and Floof. I need wisdom saves from both of you.
Wisdom save 19.
19. The scent is almost unbearable as you get into this area with these 3 large, emaciated, hound-like creatures. You can see the ears kind of now jetting up on either side of this raggedy, mangy fur. Not unlike the large bulldog-like creature that you saw earlier, but this is far from any domesticated creature you've ever seen. Whatever brought these here was not intentional. And you get the sense as you struggle to hold on to yourself and your sanity from the stink. Whatever these creatures are is what's causing this hysteria among the people. As you struggle to hold on to yourselves and push through whatever it is coming from these creatures, you prepare yourselves for a fight. You see on the other side of you, between a large, rotund, dragonborn man that you recognize as the Sultan Gesh of the Jamila dynasty, you can see blood dripping down one side of his face as he holds a broadsword in one hand and some sort of staff-like implement in the other. And you see beside him a mage that's just coughing up blood, his eyes becoming bloodshot, and like that you see that unhinged emotion beginning to well up in his face.
Umbar! What is the matter with you? What causes this? Umbar! You will stand straight before you!
And as he begins to give these commands to this mage, you watch as the mage turns around, his hand wreathed in flame as he releases this gout of fire against the Sultan. And the Sultan just barely managed to cover his face as he is just enveloped in flame from this mage. And you can see the horror in the face of Gamil as he just rushes through. But with that, I know this was kind of a short session, but I think we're going to end it there. And we'll pick this up with 2 sets of initiatives next time.